Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you just joining us, my name is Alfred, and this is Capital City Aquatics. And today we're going to be discussing the topic of 5 steps you can do to help with the growth of your fry. Now, I predominantly keep guppies in my tanks right now. They're live bears, so typically speaking, those fish are a little easier to keep than egg layers or egg scatterers. But the tips that I'm going to give can apply to all fish, live bears or egg layers and egg scatterers. This is a general overview of what I've used to help me in my 30+ years of fish keeping, and hopefully you can use some of these tips to help you with your fry. First tip I'm going to share with you is to make sure that your fry are separated as best as possible, if you have the tank space for it, or perhaps even a breeder box, from the adult fish or any other fish in your tanks that could be considered predators for them. Obviously, for live bears, they're born quite small, so any fish in the tank will obviously see them as a quick snack. And for egg layers, again, the same thing. There's a number of fish in your tank. They will take the opportunity to eat the eggs if they're fortunate enough to find them. So if you have a spare tank available, or you can purchase a breeder box, it's always best to separate the pregnant female so that she gives birth to the fry in the spare tank. This way there aren't as many predators. The possibility is there, of course, that the mother will eat her own fry or eggs, but you drastically eliminate the number of predators for those fish if you can separate and put them in their own tank or their own breeder box. Now, if that's not an option, the next best thing you can do is try and provide as many hiding spaces as possible. Live plants or decorations and caves in the tank work well for that. In this tank right here, I have a large clump of Java moss, and I have some rocks and other decorations which the fry can use to hide so that the other fish won't prey on them. The next step I'll recommend is, when you're feeding your fry, to provide them with a high quality food that's very nutritious for them. This will definitely help with their growth. Obviously, live food like live baby brine shrimp or vinegar eels are quite beneficial to them. They provide lots of nutrients, which then in turn help with the growth and development of the fry. After that, there are some readily available foods out there specifically for fry. The one that I like to use is the Northfin Fry Starter food. I've been using it for quite some time. It's a very fine powder, so you just sprinkle that in the water, and the fry will come up and eat that, and it has provided me over the years with great results. So providing your fry with highly nutritious food, whether it be live food or powdered food, or if you have good quality flake food, just make sure to crunch it up so that it's small enough that the fry can eat the little crumbs. But definitely high quality food, I would say, is a very important aspect to help with the growth and development of your fry. The third tip I'd like to mention to help with the development of your fry is to make sure your aquarium water is in a safe range. So that's where your testing will come into play to make sure that all of your tank parameters are ideal for your fish, and to do regular water changes on that tank to help maintain a good environment for them to live in. Obviously, fry are more susceptible to your conditions in the tank, so maintaining a ammonia level of 0, maintaining a good pH and optimal nitrate and nitrate levels are key in the early stages of your fry's life. So just to do water testing, make sure that your levels are good, and to do frequent water changes once or twice a week should be ideal, just to provide them with a great opportunity and a healthy environment for them to grow in. For tip number 4, one thing I would recommend is feeding the fish not only a high quality food, but the frequency in which you feed them. Obviously, your fries will have a very small stomach, so you'll have to feed them small amounts but frequently. So whenever I've noticed that I have fry in my breeder tank and I've removed the female, I try and feed them at least 4 to 5 times a day, and make sure that what I feed them is what they eat roughly in 4 or 5 minutes, because the fish or the fry at this point will be quite active in the tank searching for food. So it's to make sure that you feed them frequently enough that providing them the nutrition that they need to help them grow. And then the tank size at this point, sort of a side note on this, is also important. If you are fortunate enough to have a separate breeding tank, you don't necessarily want to go with a very large tank. This makes it harder for the fry to find the food, so I would recommend nothing over a 20 gallon. So 5-10 gallon would be ideal. The 20 gallon, you're kind of pushing the limits because you have a lot of tank volume, and it's harder for the fry to find the food at this point. So nothing over a 20 gallon for a breeder tank, and this way the fry will find the food. If it's a high quality food, they'll be consuming it, and you should notice considerable growth if you're feeding them enough over the next couple of weeks. And then at that point you can consider moving them in with the adults, but only after they've reached considerable size where they can compete with the adults for the food that you're giving them. So in the beginning, 3 to 4, possibly even 5 times a day. If you have a automatic feeder, those can come in handy so that it's programmed in and they're receiving food on regular intervals. And the final point that I'd like to bring up with you today for ensuring that you have a good growth rate with your fry is consistency. And what I mean by that is, again, making sure it's the tank water parameters are consistent, making sure that you're feeding them consistently, kind of build it into a routine with your fry, and this way you're not leaving anything to chance. Make sure the lighting, if you have a timer, that it's on a timer. Provide them with the same amount of light every day. If you're feeding them good quality food, make sure that the timing that you're feeding it is fairly consistent, and build it into a routine. This way you're eliminating a number of things like forgetting or anything like that. It's just to be consistent with the care level you're providing them, consistent with the water parameters, the feeding, and if you do this over the course of the next couple of weeks, you should see growth in your fry, and the success that you have from doing this hopefully will bring you a sense of accomplishment. And it's always nice to watch them grow up and color up. It gives you a great sense of achievement when you can do this consistently. We'll just take a quick look at the fry I have in this tank. There's a couple of different stages now, but they're all at a point where they can fend for themselves, and I do feed this tank quite heavily to make sure that not only the adults that I do have in this tank, but also the juveniles are getting enough to eat, and I'll show you my results. So there's some of my smaller fry. I wouldn't necessarily call them fry at this point, they're more juveniles. And then again, lots of hiding space for them with the decorations and the live plants that I have in here. And then there's some of my more juveniles. They're 3 months old now. They've grown up nice size. They're obviously still going to be getting bigger. And I do have them in here with my adult males. And but again, providing them with enough food to make sure everyone gets enough to eat. Alright, I want to thank you for joining me on today's video. I certainly hope that if you like this type of video that you hit the like button. I would ask, if you haven't already done so, to please subscribe to the channel. I certainly count on the support of my viewers, and to hit the notification button so that when I do come out with new videos that you're notified and can continue to enjoy the aspects of this hobby that I share with you. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next week.